Never forget.
Boy, things really are broken without Carson here. All right. That took a little bit. So, nice. So, you know how I always tell you guys when you're married, the scariest words in any marriage is, I was thinking. So I was thinking we'd go to Italy for 2 weeks. Of course, Pixie was thinking 4. And now we're going for a month. So there you go. So we're planning the trip, and I decide I'm going to take some language lessons. So I go on Duolingo, and I've started the language lessons. And it turns out all I ended up with was having a second Italian woman yelling at me every day that I'm wrong. You know, the shopping has started, obviously. We're getting like 8 to 10 packages to the house each day. Pixie's got like 40 dresses, 36 of them go back. My house has become an Amazon return center. We print out the labels, we run to UPS, we drop them off. It's fucking crazy. When we've been married now for 41 years. Yeah, thank you. I only do this, it's because it's the only place I could get 5 minutes of uninterrupted time. You know, my Pixie, she's like a fresh cannoli. She smells great. She tastes delicious. But like too many cannolis, man, she's killing me slowly. You know, she's a big hand talker, right? We're Italian, so our hands are always going a mile a minute. She broke her wrist last summer, and she developed a speech impediment. She just stood there going, ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. You know, we always talk about who's going to go first. I know I'm going first. When I tell her that, she goes, yeah, that sounds about right. We're away with cousins, and we're talking about that. And my cousin says, well, what if she went first? I said, well, if she goes first, I'll be right behind her. He goes, that's sweet. You'd be brokenhearted. She jumps in and says, brokenhearted? He can't get out of the fucking recliner to feed himself. That's why he'll die. You know, this age, you guys could say a little trouble getting up on the stage. My fucking cane went down. Anyway, it occurs to me that I have a good business plan in mind. You guys are familiar with OnlyFans. I know there's a lot of pervs here, so I know you're familiar with OnlyFans. Well, I'm going to start a pay site for people like me who have had multiple orthopedic surgeries, and I'm going to call it Only Scars. You know how you know you're Italian? You use the rubber band from the Broccoli Rob as your wallet. When I was a kid, mine broke, and I went to my nono. I said, no, I need a new wallet. He opened the drawer. I wish Harlan was here. I opened the drawer, threw some on the table, and he goes, hey, pick it the color you like. So, you know, food culture is very big for Italians, right? I mean, UNESCO has named multiple Italian dishes as world historic cuisine. And I find it very, very difficult that people would refer to the Olive Garden as an Italian restaurant. I refer to it as a culinary hate crime. You know, when I was a kid, my grandmother was a great cook, and she was a great baker. She'd make the little Italian cookies that you all get at the holidays. She was very, very good. One of the favorite things that she made was bundt cake. Now, as a little kid, I used to love her bundt cake. And I was maybe 3, 4 years old, and I ran into the house. And because I was a little dyslexic at the time, I transposed the B and the C. I asked for cunt bake. It took us a week to wake Nona up. You know, my wife accuses me of forgetting things. She says I have a selective memory. And I only remember the things that are important to me. I like to call it Italian Alzheimer's. Italian Alzheimer's is where you forget everything except the grudges. You know, growing up as a kid, I was exposed to Italian women for generations, and they talk and they talk and they talk. Seemingly, they can breathe through their ears, which blows out that whole excuse of, I'm not sucking that because I can't breathe. You know, Aging was sort of tough on me, and it was really tough on Pixie. Menopause just hits Italian women very differently. It's basically Mother Nature's way of telling an Italian woman she's going to be dealing with facial hair for the rest of her life. And speaking of menopause, I'm in bed one night and I hear bzzz, little louder, a little faster. Bzzz. Here I am thinking Pixie's in the bullpen warming up. Bzzz. But no, I rolled over and there she is with the little fan from her nightstand, just trying to cool herself off. I had a completely different buzzing in mind. All right, guys, that's my time. Let's welcome Tony G back. Thank you.
Keep it going, Toronto Rocky, everybody.